Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my Veterans to Success podcast. You probably know by now, my mission is to help 1 million veterans and entrepreneur business owners achieve the dreams, goals, and aspirations they deserve. That is why I created the Veterans to Success podcast, because I get to interview guys, men and women, who want to share their fascinating stories with you about their time before, during and after their time in the military, so you can benefit and overcome your challenges. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be mesmerized, astounded, and entertained. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Veterans to Success, the podcast that really makes the difference for veterans who are out in the military and want to get even better success. And you'll see in the background, if you're watching the video, we've got Success Matters, Your Success Matters, and that is a downloadable book that is my gift to you for New Year. So if you want to download Your Success Matters, by all means do. You can also go to joeteams.com. That's joeteams.com to get that. Now, today, straight in, I've got Seru Nainoco. That's how you pronounce it, isn't it, Seru? What a lovely name that is.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Right, so as I've said before, what we do during the interview, we do a slow reveal. Right, I know you're an amazing person and you're lovely. I've liked speaking to you. The fact is, as we go through our time together today, we're going to go through and you're going to be sharing your story, which I think is absolutely amazing, by the way. So let's start by you taking me back to your time before the military. So what was going on in your life and whereabouts in the world were
you? So my upbringing in Fiji was truly special.
Yeah.
My father, he was a higher education lecturer, and my mum worked in a boarding school. So they both instilled in me the importance of both intellectual pursuits and nurturing environment. So
So Fiji, right? Okay. So a lovely warm place, and what on earth grabbed you to join the military, the UK military, where it's sometimes a little bit wet and cold and even icy?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. I mean, growing up, I was surrounded by the vibrant culture of Fiji, with its strong sense of community and tradition, and that had a profound impact on my worldwide. So after completing my foundational studies in high school, my goal was clear. I aspired to follow in my father's footsteps and become a high school teacher. Education has always been the core of our family, and I wanted to contribute to shaping young minds.
Right.
So I took a step back from formal education, and then I pursued my bachelor's degree in art studies at the University of the South Pacific in Suva, which is the capital of Fiji.
Right.
And my focus was on contemporary history and human geography. And that was driven by a deep curiosity about people and the environment they inhabit.
Fantastic. So you, your father is a teacher, and your mother's at a boarding school, and she's involved heavily. You've decided to go down the education route. You're in geography and history, and then all of a sudden you think, the Army's calling. Now I know from speaking with some of the guests previously, right, who have been recruited from the Commonwealth and different more exotic parts of the world, we've had in the past a pretty good army recruitment or military recruitment team that go around. So where did you first hear about the opportunity to join the military?
Yeah. So having mentioned about my education, that was an eye-opening experience, delving into the intersection of arts and geography. So, and that kind of helped me to see the potential to inspire and educate through these disciplines. However, as life sort of unfolds, unexpectedly, my path took a turn towards the military, which was a decision influenced by various experiences and challenges along the way. Um, so it wasn't something I initially planned, but life has a way of presenting unexpected opportunities and
So
challenge.
when you
Uh,
say challenges, if you don't mind, what was the predominant challenge that made you want to change?
yeah. So as I progressed through my academic journey in art studies and human geography, um, I found myself facing a desire for a different kind of adventure and sort of longing that sense of purpose that extended beyond the classroom. And so I had to make the decision of whether I need to continue my education at the university or join the military. So I had to weigh the pros and cons, and I felt like I had a better opportunity, and so I went for the military option, which drove me to joining the army.
Good, fantastic, thank you. So you've made that decision now, and you've decided to change. And by the way, I said history; it's arts actually that it was. So thank you for reminding me about that. What what was the what was the recruitment process like, and what did your mum and dad think, your mother and father, when you said, "Oh, I'm joining the army"?
Yeah. When I think um, at the age of 18, obviously, I was still in my youth,
Yeah.
and they wanted me to complete my education, and I've felt a calling to serve something greater than myself. And so I had to have that discussion with them about what the military offered, which is a very unique avenue to channel my sense of duty and also to contribute to a cause that was beyond my individual aspiration. And so, additionally, because of the structured environment and also the chance to be a part of that team kind of really resonated with me, that provided a new perspective on leadership and a personal growth. And I think it was difficult at first to make that decision of having to leave home and obviously join the army.
Mhm.
But I felt like they had every faith in me, and they have every confidence that I was going to be able to do it. But yeah,
Good, excellent. Now, what branch of the army did you go into in the end?
yeah. So my military journey began with the rigorous training in the UK. I joined the Royal Logistic Corps, um, but then the training kind of laid the foundation for the challenges that was ahead. And I was posted to Gütersloh in Germany, where I served as a supply specialist.
Right. Okay, in Gütersloh.
Yes.
That's brilliant. And but by the way, when you went to training, how were you greeted? I suppose it may have been a little bit different than when I joined, and they said, "I'm your mother now. Who am I?" So, what was the greeting you received, and how did the training go? Because uh, we've talked about this before the podcast, and you're quite happy to discuss this. And I know in the past, women have been dealt with sometimes not so great, and other times great. And
Yeah.
you've also got the fact that your ethnicity is black. So how were you greeted when you joined?
Yeah. Good question. Um, I throughout my military career, I've never felt like I've been subjected to any form of racism or discrimination because I'm a woman, and only I'm a woman because I'm a woman of color and I'm actually Black. Um, the greeting that I received was very welcoming, and
Right.
I embraced the opportunity of um, being on that adventure and how I can sort of maximize my potential at a very young age. It was 19 when I first enlisted.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
So you see, because I'm really happy that that was your experience, which is absolutely great. And I think that you're softly spoken. You are, from what I've gathered from our chats, you're extremely driven. So it was the fact that you were able to maybe just take a different view of or and react differently to different attitudes and behaviors of other people. That probably made it a lot easier for you as well, didn't it?
absolutely. Yes, it made it a lot more easier for me. Um, you know, when I was sort of making that decision, uh, when I first enlisted, when I started my training, it was it was it was different because I saw it as an opportunity, um, not only to travel the world, but also an opportunity to be able to learn and grow both professionally and personally.
So you went to Gutterslow. What was your time in the military? Because you were in for 6.5 years.
Yeah,
So what was the most memorable time in the when you were dealing with logistics? Because
yeah,
logistics is a very important part of the military. So what was a memorable time for you?
yeah. So this role, oh, so I was a supply specialist. So this role involved managing and delivering vital supplies, ensuring the seamless function of our forces. So the deployment to Iraq in 2003 was a defining chapter in my military service. It was a period of intense challenges, both professionally and personally, because we were operating in a very high stakes environment. So that required a lot of adaptability and resilience. But the fellowship formed during this time created lasting bonds and taught me valuable lessons about teamwork under pressure.
Yeah, because I would imagine that you did feel some pressure, didn't you?
Absolutely. There was a lot of pressure, but having that fellowship bond was really crucial and it was really important.
Now, without disclosing any confidential or secret information, what sort of challenges did you have, and how did you handle it, and how did your team, the fellowship, your comrades handle it? What was
Yeah,
a defining moment, do you think?
yeah. So I also was deployed to Canada. So that brought a different set of challenges because it was testing our ability to be able to adapt to diverse environments. And this was in 2006. So uh, the experiences in Canada added sort of layers to my skill set, and it sort of broadens my understanding of logistical operations on an international scale. So each deployment, um, like in Iraq, while it was very demanding, it contributed to my growth as a military professional. And so working as a team together, and having that bond, that lasting bond with my fellow comrades was really important at a time when you're actually away on deployment.
And in 2006, then you were in Canada, and then that did that prompt you deciding to leave, or was it just that you thought, I've done my bit for my sense of duty to serve, and now I need to know what next in my chapter?
Yes. So it was after I was in Canada, so transitioning out of the military in '06 was a thought out decision. I mean, while I cherished my time in service, I felt a calling to explore new opportunities and contribute to society in different ways. So the transition involved careful planning to ensure there was a smooth integration back into civilian life, taking with me all the invaluable skills and experiences that I've actually gained during my military service.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, one of the things I've picked up on, because because before we went live with the podcast, I've said that I love active listening, and I think it's really important. And what yourself, together with the other great guys who've been on the podcast, you say things are very matter of fact. I know that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind that, and you've just shared with us the fact that the transition to civilians Civvy Street was carefully thought out, and you being a logistics specialist, I would expect you to have a whole list of stuff and programs, techniques, systems to make sure you get it right. So for people who are listening to this, who maybe you may be listening to this, and I'm thinking for you, what would you like to know? Because for me, I would like to know what sort of process you went through when you were leaving the military, and of course, when you'd left the military, what sort of process do you continue with, if that makes sense?
Yeah. The whilst I was in the military, it's instilled in me a profound sense of discipline, teamwork, adaptability, and because this is proven to be instrumental in my personal and professional life post military service. So the ability to be able to tackle challenges head on and work effectively has been a lasting legacy from my time in the Royal Logistic Corps. Um, so the military environment inherently requiring a high level of discipline, the ability to lead in challenging situation, and the capacity to work seamlessly within a team. So this experience has instilled in me a resilience that allows me to face adversity with determination and also a perseverance to overcome obstacles.
Good. Now, so you've left the military, and it's not all a bed of roses, is it? I mean,
No,
what sort of challenges did you face?
the
Because what I've found as well from these podcasts where I get to interview people like yourself, and where you're sharing all of the details, and it's pretty similar to me as well, because I've been through it. So there are definite commonalities that happen during the transition. So what did you find was the biggest challenge for you, or number of challenges?
Yeah, so the transitioning from the military to civilian life comes with a unique set of challenges. So the structured and regimented nature of military life contrasts starkly with the more flexible civilian environment. So it requires adapting to a new way of life, finding a new sense of purpose, and of, often at times rediscovering one's identity outside the military context. So it's a period of profound change. It can be both exciting and challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was probably your biggest challenge. And that is common, that in the military everything's run rigid, and that's just the way it is, even timekeeping. Whereas I've noticed on Civvy Street, timekeeping, sometimes the start time is a guide rather than an actual. Obviously, it changes in different contexts and different situations. Hey, do you enjoy sipping a good glass of wine? As you know, sipping too much wine can leave you feeling groggy in the mornings. For less than the price of a good bottle of wine, you can gain access to valuable business and life resources gained from my over 37 years in business and 15 years in the military. These world-class resources are designed to help you achieve the goals, dreams, and aspirations you deserve. So visit joelteams.com now to find out more. That's JOETEAMS.com to find out more. So, you're still on your journey, of course. And what was your first encounter with a civilian career?
Yeah, it was challenging, to be honest, because I was so used to having that, living in that bubble, and for a long time. And when you come out of the army into civilian street, it's a completely different way of life altogether. And as you mentioned, it's time management and how it works in civilian life is completely different, and everything is so regimented in the army. But I was fortunate to have access to a robust support system, and they played a pivotal role in my transition and my transformative journey.
But so you started then with as a freelance logistics consultant, didn't you? And
I did.
how did that go? Because that's no surprise after you've spent your military career just perfecting and honing in on logistics skills. You started as a freelance logistics consultant. How did that go?
Yeah, it was when I first started that it was I wouldn't say it was plain sailing, but it had a set of challenges because it was something completely new, but I found it exciting, and and also challenging as well, because I had to learn how to navigate doing that in a civilian environment. Um, but one thing that I like about it, it gave me the flexibility to be able to have a work-life balance, um, and also having the support of a mentor helped me to navigate that. And I was able to um, do that for at least five years
Yeah.
before I went into another new role.
And the other new role was also logistics, and that was in comparison, that was a fairly short period, just over a year, and then something happened again, didn't it? It was another sea change, and maybe an evangelical moment, something that just eureka. What happened then to you? And this particularly interests me.
Yeah, so after I did freelance in logistics, I then um, pursued a career with United Parcel Service, and that was a full-time role. Um, and so whilst I was doing that, I decided to then go back to school, which I then pursued my degree in law.
Right. So here you are. Uh, you've perfected your logistics skills, and then all of a sudden you've thought, right, I want to do something else. What prompted that, by the way? And the reason I want to hone in on this is because I believe in education and continuous professional development. As a financial advisor, I need to do that, and as a coach as well, and keep
Mm,
abreast of things. So, and every day is a school day, isn't it,
mm,
really? So
mm.
what prompted you to think, right, okay, while I'm holding down this full-time job, this is just my holding pattern, if you like,
Mm.
while I pursue a new career. What made you change your mind?
Yes, so I've always wanted to go back to school and pick up from where I left off before I joined the military. And so I saw this as an opportunity where I could expand my knowledge in an area of law. I found law to be quite stimulating, and also because of it's so dynamic as well. And I felt like, taking this opportunity would be a good way of continuing to learn and to also aspire in achieving my goal.
Your goal to serve and a duty of excellence. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in law, I mean, law is quite a big subject. So what did you want to hone in on? What type of law did you want to specialize in?
Yeah. So law covers like a really wide spectrum of discipline. In fact, it covers all discipline, even the air that we breathe. So, so I was really sort of drawn into. At first, it was difficult trying to sort of find which area of law I would be really interested in, and I've always been so fascinated by by the subject itself, and so I was drawn to. And then after I did my degree, when I then moved on to do my legal practice, that's why I had to make the decision of narrowing two areas of law that I really like to continue doing. And so I did family law and civil litigation, and
Right.
it was really interesting area of law, and I quite enjoyed it.
Well, that's no surprise, really. Family law, about bringing families together and making sure that they're looked after. And of course, when there's a breakup, to understand what causes that and how to mitigate against it as much as you possibly can. So then you actually then went for a job in the legal sector, didn't you?
Yes,
and how did that go?
yes, I did. So I then worked as a paralegal in both civil litigation and family law, but I was particularly more focused on family law because that was like my niche, if you like, something that I really enjoyed, and something I quite enjoyed when I was actually doing my legal practice. And that was really interesting because obviously family law covers a wide spectrum of family issues, from divorce to child custody, etc. And so that was something that I particularly really enjoyed doing when I did that.
Good. And I know that your career, you were with them for nearly 3 years, and then you decided to make another change, and you went for a Salesforce role with a cohort on Black Talent UKI, because you were excited to do this, weren't you?
Absolutely, yes. I was really excited to doing that. And that was another transition that I did after I moved from law into tech.
Yeah. And what prompted that, do you think?
When I was doing my logistics, in the army, so we use a lot of tech,
Yeah.
and so I now time has sort of evolved. These technologies actually advanced, but I've always been kind of curious about tech, and so that drove me into wanting to sort of look into the sector and see, um, an opportunity that would sort of allow me to expand on my knowledge in tech.
And I know that your journey, you still have a great time in front of you, and I'll cover something else that you've done as well. But I would like to say, what's the secret of your success? What drives you, and what keeps you going to be successful?
Certainly, for me, placing God at the forefront of my journey has been a source of guidance, strength, and purpose. It's about aligning my actions and decisions with spiritual values, seeking divine wisdom, and finding solace in faith during both triumphs and challenges. So, that spiritual foundation has provided me a steady compass, helping me to navigate the challenges of life with a sense of purpose and divine support. But to me, prosperity goes beyond material wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because wealth, when I'm dealing with with clients, some are totally focused on money, some are totally focused on health and happiness, and then there's others who are focused on both, which is more of a balanced approach. And it's interesting to see the dynamics of the different drivers in people and how it rewards them. So I suppose there's no right or wrong way, so long as it's, I go by three principles: so long as it's legal, no one's financially disadvantaged, and it's good to go, then it's all right with me. So yeah, I think we share similar values on that. So you've been in the legal specialist transitioner, and then you decide to go into the next role, which is where you are currently, and what made you change to that? And explain what it is actually as well.
Do you like coffee? A lot of people tend to spend money on expensive coffees from outlets without even thinking about it. Well, for the price of just 2 coffees per month, you can gain access to valuable business and life resources gained from my over 37 years in business and 15 years in the military. These world-class resources are designed to help you achieve the goals, dreams, and aspirations you deserve. So visit joeteams.com now to find out more. That's JOETEAMS.com to find out more.
Yes. So I like I mentioned before, I wanted to kind of find out more about tech and how tech has actually evolved. Having that experience whilst I was actually in the military with the logistics. And so I joined a cohort, which was initiated and it was instigated by Salesforce. And one thing I liked about Salesforce was their core values, because it aligned with my core value and also with my goal. And so I took on the opportunity to join the cohort group, which then led me to then take up another opportunity after the cohort, which was the Salesforce administrator role with tech talent consulting.
That's right, because these Salesforce cohort actually prompted you to get the job, didn't it? And it wasn't just that you got the job; you were chosen for that path, weren't you?
Yes. I had the opportunity to be able to sort of connect and network, and so that sort of helped me to be able to secure that opportunity.
So how many people were in the cohort, out of interest?
There was about, I would say, 80 or 90 that started the cohort. Yeah.
And how many positions were available after that?
The position were only limited to those who were attending it regularly, and so it was only given to those who would be fully engaged in the program and also taking part in activities and attending the sessions on that 11-week program.
out of interest, how many actually were chosen to move to the next level?
I'd say about 15 out
Right.
of the 80, yeah, they've got
Yeah,
chosen.
yeah, okay. So that's where we wanted to come to, because I want to pick up on the fact that out of the 80 or 90, because I mean that's like 12%. That's the 12%. So you were in the top 10%, top 12% of the cohort. And what's coming through for me is that you went the extra mile on every opportunity. You were there at every course, every attendance you needed to make, every meeting, did the homework, did the work, put it in, put the hours in. So it wasn't by accident, was it, that you got chosen to move forward, even though you might not like to say so?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to I'd like to think that, but I suppose for me, it's I took on the opportunity as a way to grow, and also to be able um, to use some of my set skills that I've had in the army into civilian, and how I could actually use that in the civilian environment.
Yeah,
And those skills the skills that I've actually acquired really helped me to be more determined, and to sort of drive me into
yeah,
doing something new.
yeah. So in summary, then, tenacity, commitment, dedication, diligence, dependability, reliability, all the energy, all of the values, honesty, integrity, all the things we're taught in the military is so important, isn't it? Now, here's something for you. How do you deal with failure?
Um, well, dealing with failure has been sort of like an integral part of my journey. I mean, I've come to see it as like a powerful catalyst for growth. So when I'm faced with setbacks, my approach is rooted in resilience and commitment to learning. So I firstly allow myself to acknowledge and process the emotions that come with failure, whether it's disappointment, um, frustration, or even self-doubt.
Yeah,
But I've learned to choose not to suppress those feelings, but rather confront and understand them. So once I've acknowledged that emotional aspect, I shift my focus to learning from the experience.
brilliant. Thank you. And how important do you think it is to have a strong social network and a strong business network? Because in the military, we have a great network, don't we? If you've got a problem and you share it with someone, it's not a problem anymore, because everyone knows it. So it's just out there, and everyone can muck in, if you like, and help. So how important have you found the social and business network in Civvy Street, and what do you think the fundamental differences are?
Yeah. So in my view, a strong social and business network is a cornerstone of both personal and professional success. This network serves as a pillar of support, isn't it? So it's like sources of knowledge and gateways to opportunities. So on the social front, you you have like this robust network that provides you a sense of community and connection, and all about cultivating that meaningful relationship with friends, family, and colleagues.
Mm,
And then from a business perspective, it's probably networking is often described as like a key driver of success. So it
yeah,
sort of opens that door to potential collaboration, partnership, and career opportunities. Whereas in a professional setting, knowing the right people can lead to um, valuable insights, mentorship, access to resources that
Yeah.
can also fuel your career growth.
Yeah.
I suppose it's not about building business network. Building a strong business network is not just about transactional relationships, it's about establishing that trust and credibility within a community of professionals. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I asked that question is because I know how being in networks has helped me. And that's one of the reasons I created the Transformer Business Network, because I know we did that through the lockdown, and it was so pivotal in people's success, staying in business and feeling supported with help and guidance. Because sometimes when you're going forward on projects or something, it can be lonely at the front, especially when you've got a leadership role. So yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. And you mentioned during our conversation so far that you've had mentors and coaches, because that's one of the things I strongly believe in, because I coach my clients. How important do you think having a good coach and mentor is?
Absolutely. I like you, I believe in the power of connections, and and I've witnessed this firsthand. And I think the impact of having a coach and a mentor in my life has been transformative on multiple levels. I've had coach who serve as like a sounding board,
Yeah,
for like self-discovery, and also it has helped me to gain clarity on my on personal and professional goals, and kind of hone that skills, receiving some constructive feedback. A mentor, on the other hand, a mentor also plays a crucial role in providing guidance during critical decision making moments. So their support is not just about imparting knowledge, but also about instilling confidence and helping me to realize my full potential. So in my own experiences, having a mentor and a coach has been really instrumental in shaping my career path.
good. And then we're drawing to the close now of our fabulous chat. And I would like to know, and it's been a common theme throughout our discussion actually, but I'd like you to hone in on how important and valuable are transferable are the skills that you learned in the military.
Yeah, the skills gained in the military are incredibly valuable, and surprisingly, it's highly transferable to civilian life. So let's break it down. So leadership, for instance, it's like a core military skill that goes beyond giving orders. It
Yeah.
involves inspiring and guiding a team towards a common goal. So this translates seamlessly to civilian settings, whether in a corporate office or community organization. And discipline is another fundamental military attribute, isn't it? It's like a trait that fosters that work ethic, time management, attention to detail. So these are qualities highly sought after in civilian civilian environment.
Yeah. Because the reason I asked that question, and I ask it repeatedly, is because many of the guys that I chat to who are still in the military are really concerned that there's no need for a soldier, sailor, airman with the duties that they had in the military outside in Civvy Street. And yet the transferable skills are all the soft skills, because you can be taught a task. Like, for instance, you've gone to legal, and now you're in, you picked up with the Salesforce and dealing with technology. So you've changed a few times. That's because you can be taught that. One of the things that's not so easy to teach is discipline, reliability, focus, leadership. generosity, understanding how a team works,
Mm.
rather than just putting on your CV, I can work well under pressure in a team or as an individual.
Mm.
People use that commonly, and actually, when you drill down to it, they might not be able to do that. But in the military, it's definite because you just get it, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you know, the ability to be able to adapt and thrive in dynamic environments, honed through military service is invaluable in navigating the ever-changing landscape of everyday life in civilian environment as well. So as you mentioned, teamwork, um, when we're on military operations, this resonates across all walks of life. The ability to be able to collaborate, communicate effectively, and work harmoniously with diverse individuals is not only crucial in the workplace, but also enhances personal relationships, community engagement, and also problem solving, decision making under pressure are skills that are finely tuned in the military. And this directly applies to everyday challenges in civilian life, whether it's managing crisis or making strategic decisions, and the ability to think critically and act decisively is a significant asset. So, in my personal experience, this military skills has been transformative. They have not only opened doors in my professional career, but have also shaped the way I approach challenges in everyday life. And these are the skills that's been instilled in me during my service, military service, and it continues to be a guiding principles that contributes to success and fulfillment beyond the military. So yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And the thing is, I've got clients who run their own business, they're business owners, and I know that when they're reviewing CVs, as soon as they see someone is ex-military, that puts them into a different level. In fact, I know people who I know equal opportunities, and that is important to have that. The thing is, though, that when they see someone who's ex-military, they know what they're going to get. There's no surprise. They know they're going to get someone who's punctual, can work in a team, has commitment. And that's generally speaking. I mean, I know we get some people in the military that aren't maybe so committed, but generally speaking, they are. So thank you very much for that. Now, my Columbo question, and just one more thing, is what's the one top tip you would give to someone who's a veteran already out of the military, maybe not achieving what they wanted, someone who is leaving the military, or just someone in business who wants to know how to get better results? What's the top tip you give them?
Yeah, the one crucial piece of advice I would offer is to embrace the power of continuous learning. Transitioning from the military to civilian life often involves acquiring new skills, adapting to different work culture, navigating diverse environments. So the ability to learn and adapt swiftly is an asset. So continuous learning, staying curious, seeking out new knowledge, this being open to acquiring skills beyond your own individual expertise, whether it's enrolling in a relevant course, attending workshops, seeking mentorship from individuals who have successfully transitioned from military to civilian careers. In addition to that, just cultivating a growth mindset, one that sees challenges as opportunities for learning and growth is quite essential as well. Also recognizing that the skills that we've gained in the military, such as leadership, discipline, teamwork, are highly transferable and valuable in civilian settings. However, complementing that with your new set of skills relevant to the civilian workshop enhances one's competitive edge. So success in civilian life often involves a combination of your existing strength and a willingness to expand your skill set.
Thank
And
you.
also embracing a mindset of continuous learning.
Good. And it's something that sprung to mind then when you were saying that. I remember when I served with the Royal Engineers, the Corps of Royal Engineers Bomb Disposal Unit, as one of the units that I served with. And when I left the military and became a financial advisor, and there was continuous learning, I can tell you, and self-development. I remember somebody we were talking about a client who was being particularly interesting, shall we say, and I jokingly, tongue in cheek, said, well, at least in a bomb disposal, we knew what we had to do with a particular ordnance. With this client, this is a whole new ball game. I mean, it's not as easy to dispose of the unexploded ordnance dealing with this client. So it is about continuous development and continuous learning. Seru, oh, sorry, go on.
Absolutely. Just wanted to add on to what you mentioned already. Yes, transitioning from military is a unique journey, and a commitment to continuous learning can be a guiding light in navigating the challenges and also seizing all the opportunities that comes with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Seru, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thanks for sharing your journey, your knowledge, wisdom, and experience. I wish you well in your future. I know that you're going to do absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me. My pleasure. And I hope sharing my journey with your listeners today will resonate with them, and so they'll be able to sort of leverage their skills and continue success and personal growth.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
JoeTeams.com is a resource I have created to fulfill my mission to help 1 million veterans and business entrepreneurs like you achieve the goals, dreams, and aspirations they deserve. JoeTeams.com is jam-packed full of valuable resources specifically designed to help you on your journey to success. Visit JoeTeams.com now to find out how you can join and start your journey to success immediately. That's JoeTeams.com, JoeTeams, JoeTeams.com. And until we meet again, have a brilliant day.